Hello, and welcome back to Fearless Narratives. I am your host, Courtlyn Jones, and today is our finale episode of our third season, and it's also Fearless Fridays. I'm going to share with you my final Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway moment. And today's topic is about building fearless narratives, but most importantly, doing this entire season without my amazing co-host, Kia. So this is for you, Kia, and let's get started. Fearless Narratives is like my second child, my passion project born out of a desire to help amplify the voices of female creatives within the design databases community. But let's go back a bit to where it all began. At the end of 2022, I had an idea sprouted in my mind, an idea to start my own podcast. Now, this is probably odd because, as you know, I have a fear of public speaking due to my stutter. So why would I willingly create a platform where my voice would be the front and center, exposing my insecurities to the world? But the idea kept gnawing at me. I had already been guest on several podcasts. And despite my fears, I knew I had something valuable to share. Plus, my voice, whether through writing or speaking, had already resonated with over 400 strangers on LinkedIn. So why not face this fear head on? But there was a catch. The idea of strangers hearing me stutter on a regular basis was intimidating. That's when the magic word appeared: editing. I would have control, fix my flaws, and make my voice sound better in my own podcast. So the idea was born, and Fearless Narrative was in the making. Now, I needed a co-host, someone who would complement my skills and help steer the ship. Kia, a friend that I had met in a virtual networking group, was the best person for the job. She was supportive, outgoing, and had the gift of engaging conversation. When I pitched the idea to her, she immediately said yes. And our partnership was sealed. And we brainstormed names, and Fearless Narratives resonated with both of us. The show was taking shape. I meticulously planned out the episodes, the themes, and guest bookings. We were all set to record. Having Kia by my side was comforting, and her trust and support meant everything to me. And we recorded not just one, but 2 seasons at once, driven by our enthusiasm and the amazing women we had met along the way. However, we had both pushed our limits, and our energy began to wane. I could see Kia and I were both burnt out, but I didn't want to stop. And Kia, being the amazing friend she is, powered through, even though she was drained. Then came the day I started to edit the episodes, and I felt like I sounded like a deranged seal as my inner critic tore me apart and pointed out every perceived flaw in my speech. When I had a complete meltdown, I called Kia in tears and declared that I wasn't going to do the podcast. I wasn't going to launch it. And Kia was the anchor I needed. She soothed my fears and reassured me and told me that she and I were in this together. With her unwavering support, I began panic editing every episode. And though the first season might have sounded choppy due to my self-doubt, it was a start. As I edited the second season, something amazing happened. I sounded better to myself. My confidence grew, and I stuttered less. I improved continuously, investing in better equipment, crafting more insightful questions, and booking amazing guests, outstanding guests for our third season. The show was evolving, and I wanted to include more storytelling, sharing not only the fearless narratives of our guests, but also my own Fearless Fridays. Yet as we moved into our third season, it became apparent that Kia and I weren't aligned anymore, as before. While I was all in, committed to the podcast growth, it became clear that Kia had to do other things for her career. And I was worried that our show was going to be adding more stress to her as opposed to helping. And I knew it was a turning point that I couldn't ignore. I realized our partnership was going to reach a natural end a lot earlier than I expected. And I didn't want the podcast to strain our friendship or push Kia to do more than she could do with her schedule. So Kia and I made the hard choice to end our co-hosting journey. It wasn't easy, but our friendship mattered more to us. I shared my feelings with Kia, and I told her that we were probably going to be ending here while she moved on to her new job. And I had to either decide to stop the show or go on without her. We had a heartfelt conversation. It was pretty easy because Kia's really chill. So she and I both knew it was going to happen at this point. So we understood that the right choice was to part ways, at least for this season. We'll see what happens in season 4. But Kia has been the most amazing co-host, and I am forever grateful for her support and friendship. So to Kia, thank you for being an extraordinary human being and for helping me to create this show. Now I have done this entire season on my own, and I am really proud of that. So to our listeners, thank you for joining me today on this season finale, where we've explored my fear, the growth, and the courage to make tough decisions. From the bottom of my heart, if you've been following the entire season or the series, even if it's only been this one episode you heard, thank you so much for joining me and letting me share my voice, the voice of our guests, and all of my stories. So know that fear may push us to make tough choices, but it's our resilience that defines us. So stay fearless, stay inspired, and stay tuned for our 4th season, which is going to be premiering this fall. So until next time, stay fearless. And that is a wrap